Hey everybody, happy Monday and welcome to TRB. I am John. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Resistance broadcast. We have a great show today. It is more of our traditional Monday show because we're going to talk about the latest going on in Star Wars news and give our takes on that. If you're looking for our takes on the finale for Obi-Wan Kenobi, we did that live this past Wednesday. It is up on the channel, so either go to youtube.com/Star Wars Newsnet videos or your preferred podcast feed, wherever that may be. That's where it be. So go check that out. We had a good time talking about that. But don't forget, we're not done yet. So this Wednesday, James and Lacey, as always, will be joining me, as they are right now, to recap the whole season of Kenobi. Because, you know, you talk about chapter 1 or whatever it is, part 1, part 2, in those little vacuums where you don't know what the rest is going to give us. Now we have a chance to look back on everything. It's usually more of a loose, fun conversation when we do those recaps. I know Clayton's been on with us a couple times, but this time, the three of us are going to be doing the TRB Taco Bell Challenge, where we're each going to get a family pack of 12 soft tacos, and throughout the entirety of the show, see how much we each can eat before we finish the show. And you're welcome to join us if you're going to be joining us live, but the TRB...
I'm going to be doing this the whole time.
The TRB Taco Bell Challenge is on Wednesday, live, 9 p.m., on the channel. So grab your tacos and come join us. Your choice of sauce is optional. If you want no sauce, that's fine. We're doing 12 soft each, and we'll see how far we get. And hopefully, not too big of a
We're ordering
disaster.
12 each.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know that we're going to eat 12 each.
Well, yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but we thought it'd be fun to finally do the Taco Bell Challenge we've been talking about for a while. So I know our patrons have been waiting for it, so we're doing it.
Wait, what's the final call on that, John? You said you think 10?
I think if I push myself, I can get somewhere in the 9 to 10 range.
And Lacey is going to try to match John, probably.
She's going to try to go for the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to go for the whole thing. Do I think I'm going to... I think I'm going to go to like... So am I. And that's the problem is like, I'm going to make myself sick. Just to beat him. I'll be like, whatever, I'll suffer for 3 days. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
At least I won.
It's not worth it to me. My tomorrow is more important than beating you. So I'm like, my goal right now is probably 6. Like, I think that's realistic.
All right.
John said he was going to eat them all at one time. So let's see how that goes.
No, I said I was going to start by trying to get, like, right off the gate, I'm going to shove a whole taco in my mouth.
I thought you said you were going to take them all at once as one big taco.
Oh, no. I may try 2 at once.
You could dissect them. Like, you could try to do all the dough and get through that and then, like, eat all of it like a salad.
That'd be like eating a volleyball.
Okay, I'm taking that. The rules are you have to actually eat it as a taco one by one.
Yeah.
You can't. No multiple tacos.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be able to discern how many you ate if you ate half. Well, I guess if you ate exactly half of that concoction, but it'd be hard to, figure out that was
anyway,
6.
We're doing it live, 9 o'clock, Wednesday. Join us, get your tacos. Let's have some fun talking about that whole season of Kenobi and trying to rifle down a dozen soft tacos from Taco Bell. Right. Spread the word. Also, real quick, the Jackfish shirt available, as well as our other shirts like Makes It All 2 Happen, TRB, bunch of stuff at store.resistancebroadcast.com. And just a reminder, friend of the podcast, Adam Christopher's book, Shadow of the Sith, comes out tomorrow. So get learned.
Mine
about
arrives tomorrow. I can't
Sith,
wait to read it.
Oshi of Bastoon, Rey's parents, a lot of cool stuff are coming out from initial reviews, are very positive, very interesting. We'll make a lot of things weave in together from what we understand.
We'll now know who Rey's mom is.
Right.
The ultimate question in Star Wars.
Yes. So congrats to Adam Christopher on his book. Long time coming. And that's out tomorrow. So pick it up, check it out, and enjoy. But now it's on to the show, where we're going to start things off a little differently than we usually do, because we want to get racing. So Lacey, let's kick it off.
All right, guys, Patreon Pod Race. There are lots of ways you can support us. You can comment, like, subscribe on this video on YouTube. You can follow us on audio platforms like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Please leave a review if you do listen to us there, because it helps us out and lets us know how we're doing, as well as lets us kind of show up in searches for other people, and we want our community to grow. You can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN or on Instagram at The Resistance Broadcast. But if you want more than that, if you want to support the show, what we're doing here, and basically say, hey, I like that you talk about Star Wars and I like what you're doing, here's my support. You can find us on patreon.com/resistance broadcast. Starting at just $2 a month, you're supporting what we're doing here and what we plan to do in the future with more videos and more content. But this is the part of the show we let our generals and spice runners take part. So first we have our generals. I want to give them a quick shout out. Carmelo, John Reese, Jetta Rosewater, Paul Olson, Frank Grande, Darth Hurricane, John Charlton, Nick Kratz, Christian Morales, Brian Smith, Matt Chitty, Danny, Mike Mori, Matt Heath, Chris White, Brendan McLaughlin, Count Pepto, Samuel Zelke. Still don't know what your last name is. Please give me that announcement in like how to say it in a message. Val Trishkoff, thank you guys so much. Thank you, generals. And to our spice runners, David Probus, Neil Shaw, Kendall Gelnar, Ryan Wara, Dave Hornack, Micah Harrison, Thomas Hennessy, Andrew Staley, and Jeremy Myers. Thank you guys so much. And this week we have a spice runner and one of kind of like our OG people, Andrew Staley. What up, Andrew?
Hey, buddy.
We loved talking with you here on the show and just talking with you in general. You're a really cool person. So your question, which the point of this, if you're new to the podcast, well, first of all, welcome. This is the part that they get to be a part of the show, our spice runners and generals, and we ask them a question and then they give their answer and we talk about it. So the question was, if you could magically leap into Star Wars at any point of any story and warn one character about something that was going to happen, sort of like Back to the Future, what would you choose? Andrew, take it away.
My choice would be warning Han Solo on Starkiller Base before he encounters Kylo Ren / Ben Solo. A lot of people in Star Wars, they've been getting stabbed with lightsabers, and Han was one of the few that hadn't made it. And so my warning would be to Han Solo to look out and maybe keep your distance from Kylo Ren. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate the question. I want to say it was a real pleasure to meet everybody at Star Wars Celebration. I was able to attend and as part of the Resistant Broadcast meetup. It was an awesome time. And thanks to John, James, and Lacey for the opportunity to do so. We'll see everybody in London next year, I hope. And hope everybody has a good summer. And may the Force be with you.
Nice job, Andrew. As always, you were wonderful. John, what'd you think?
He saved Han Solo. Love the answer. I also think that is certainly one of the moments that would have a chain reaction effect on the rest of the story, because we know what doing the deed did to Kylo Ren and so forth. Obviously, the effect it had on everyone else more directly or in a linear way, like Chewie and Leia and everything. And of course, Han being killed and Rey seeing her like, new father figure killed right before her. So a lot of things went into play with Han's death there. And if he was able to warn him, I'd be curious to see like what would then happen thereafter. So it makes me think about what ifs. And I know that's like a thing now with multiverses and the Marvel what if stuff, but not Star Wars' thing. But I just thought it'd be a fun thing to toss out there. And you gave a great answer. And then, of course, you got sentimental on me and tried to get me a little emotional there, Andrew, talking about celebration and thinking about, how happy you are to be a part of what we're doing. So first of all, thank you, man, for always taking the time for us, taking the time to come to our event, which was off-site. That means a great deal to us. And we were so happy to have you there. And then, of course, it looks like you're going to London, which that's our plan too, man. So I look forward to seeing you again. And I hope you have a great summer too, but I know we'll talk to you in the base, man. Thanks so much, Andrew.
James?
Yeah, man. I mean, well, John, like you said, it's not really Star Wars' thing. It kind of did happen in Star Wars once. A character being pulled out of a situation by some sort of time loop and kind of save their life. This is kind of crazy. But if that were possible, I don't know that there would be too many better options than Han. Because I think he's like a big enough pivotal character that died too early. You know what I mean? It just... like with like Luke and Leia, for instance, like they went in their time kind of thing. And like Han was like before his time. So it's tricky. And I think you're right that the ramifications, you and Andrew, obviously Andrew picked a great character here to save their life. Like the ramifications of that character still being around would have drastically. I mean, Han probably would have been on Exegol. You know, it's crazy to think about that type of stuff, but
maybe.
Yeah, but possibly. Yeah, at that time. Yeah, but yeah, good answer, Andrew. Always thanks for being here for us as well. And just like you said, I hope to see you in London as well.
Andrew, you're so awesome. I love how great you are, and I love your collections and talking about Rey and your cats. This was a great answer. Already just John talking about this and thinking about it, but like definitely John talking about it, I was like, oh no, but if he doesn't die, then Rey doesn't have that like Spider-Man Uncle Ben moment. Like she doesn't try to get the lightsaber. She doesn't try to fight Kylo. She doesn't take on kind of like her Jedi ways because he kind of drove her to that. There's just so many ramifications of Han Solo. But again, like I get it. Because when he died in the movie theater, I remember I was the only one that went, no, in the movie theater. It was very obnoxious. And I remember Matt was like, stop it. Stop talking. Because I have a problem with that. Anyway, thank you for your answer. Can't wait to see you in London. You're going to love it. It's great. It's a really fun country and a really great location for a show. And we can't wait to hang out with you. So now we're going to go to James.
All right, guys. It's a little bit different to be handed off by Lacey. It's kind of cool. But we're going to be doing the Resistance Report.
It's the Resistance.
Anything is better than Lacey handing off to Lacey, though. So
back to you, Lacey.
Guys, we're going to kick off this week. We are going to be doing a little bit of Obi-Wan talk, even though John mentioned that we did a lot of our Obi-Wan stuff on Wednesday. And again, this next coming Wednesday, there are some Obi-Wan stories to talk about here. But we're actually going to kick it off with a little bit of a rumor. Now, this one actually comes from Christian Harloff. If you happen to know him, he's been in the game for a very long time. He's not really a scooper. But when he threw this out there, he wanted to let everybody know, like, I'm not trying to make this a story. It's a rumor. I'm saying it's a rumor, but this is what I'm hearing, that Cameron Monaghan has already been tapped. It is going to happen. They are going to do the Cal Kestis Disney Plus series. Nothing cemented yet as far as like, locations and other actors and stories or anything along those lines. It's just like they've greenlit the series, and he is obviously going to be the person to play the character. So that's the rumor right now coming from Christian. John, I'm going to start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on this rumor?
I believe it, for one. For a few reasons. One, I think in knowing Christian Harloff, we know him a little bit now. He, I think, is very careful with stuff he puts out there, and I don't think he would just take to his channel and do a special 5-minute video if it was something that was really fugazi or something very loosey-goosey that someone just casually said. So I think in order for him to went to his channel to do this, I think he really believes in who told him this, and he believes that it's true himself. And I appreciate the fact that he slaps rumor on it, because you never know, especially with Star Wars projects. We've seen Star Wars projects announced that have been shelved, let alone something that may be in the works that may not see the light of day. So I think he positioned it the right way. So I believe that this is true. I also like Cameron Monaghan. I was late to the game on Shameless, but once I got into it, my wife and I bulldozed through the episodes, and he was so good in that series. He's a very good actor, and it makes me think, I'm pretty sure, I'm not a big gamer. I have Fallen Order. I opened it. I literally took the plastic off of it. There might be a disc in there. I'm not sure. But I want to play the game, but from what
it's tough. I'm not gonna lie, and I love video games, and I found it tough to remember all the different moves. Now, I'm probably not as skilled as most people. I like to just button mash. But it's very calculated. You have to remember certain moves and certain combos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember listening to a podcast where two people were discussing it, and one person said it was a bad game because it was just kind of boring, and there wasn't really much to it.
definitely not boring. It's you have to literally pay attention, and it's not just let me play this game.
So,
like you have to remember things.
But this is where the conversation went. The other person immediately like put that to a halt. They were like, "Shut up! You just put it on the easiest mode, didn't you?" And you just like rolled through the game, just mashing the buttons, killing people without putting any thought into like a higher difficulty and then having to like tackle every enemy like in the way that they're supposed to be fought. So it's like, it's one thing, I guess you theoretically you could play the game, John, like on the easy route and just kind of mash your way through it for the story or something. But Lacey's absolutely right. If you play it on normal or like any sort of higher difficulty, you are going to encounter enemies and be like, crap. And then you're like going to have to actually fight them.
Can I be honest for a second on what really trips me up in those types of games? And it's not the fighting parts. It's the parts where you have to go up some type of ladder, whether it be like gripping things, like he grips things and goes across, or like grips things and goes up. And you have to like go from jump, grip, 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 grip.
Oh, yeah.
Jump, grip. I always fall. And I keep falling, and I get up all the way up, and I'm about to make that last jump, and I fall, and then I go, you know what? I'm done with this. And I quit. Because I can't do you have to like time the jumps right and then grab onto stuff. No matter what video game it is, I hate those. Or like certain, so Lego Star Wars does that with, on the Rey level of the Skywalker saga, when you're on Jakku, and you go into the, okay, I'm not spoiling anything. You go into the thing and she has to jump from piece to piece. It's just very difficult. You have to time it right. And I'm very bad at that. And so when I look at Jedi Fallen Order, where you're like, okay, well, and they walk you through the first level of Jedi Fallen Order, like, okay, these things you can jump on, these things you can do this. And they try to teach you, but it just, it's a weakness of mine. I'm very bad at those, like, jump time.
Sometimes games can like highlight things that you need to go to, but I feel like the adult end of games, like I think Lego Star Wars would like highlight the door or whatever you need to head to. But then like games like Fallen Order, I don't think they do anything like that.
You're on like a ledge.
Just, like, recognize that type of brush is
well,
something
at the beginning they show you. The first one they'll show you.
Yeah.
But then like he'll be on a ledge and it'll be like, okay, you have to jump to the next thing. I'll always miss it, and then I have to start over.
Yeah. Well, anyway, John, you'll play it someday, or you could just watch the YouTube videos.
I will probably play it someday.
Someday.
This someday?
Someday. I know all about waiting.
I think my thoughts on the game are more aligned with how it was received than how it is to play. I think most fans really liked or respected the game, and the story it told. It seemed like it was held in high regard more universally than any kind of negativity or criticisms or what have you. And I think going into it, they did the reverse thing where they were like, let's get an actor who is an established good actor, so that in the event this game takes off and we want to branch out from game to something else, we have the continuity there. We have the guy. And he's a good actor. They did full performance capture with him. So he knows like lightsaber stuff and all that. And his character looks like him. They didn't even do like a thing where he's like, an alien or anything like that. He's a redheaded kid out in the Star Wars galaxy. Looks exactly like he does in real life. So I think they may have had those plans already in place in the event it was a success and they wanted to branch it out. And it looks like that's what they're doing. I know they have another game coming too with Survivor, but he's a good actor. And I don't know the full story of Jedi Fallen Order. I've put pieces together based on discussions we've had here and talking to other people. I gotta, play it and then also, watch through the stories and stuff. I know Inquisitors are heavily involved in like a cute little droid and a bunch of interesting things that I want to check out and know more, especially if this is true, which, like I said, I'm leaning on it probably being true. Now, whether we get that green light, you never know with Lucasfilm projects, but I think there's something happening here for sure.
Lacey?
I'm trying to think of what to say that John didn't say. I mean, honestly,
anything about the game, because I don't really.
Well, I haven't really played through it either. That's
Okay.
I've said that. I'm not a big heights jumping person, apparently. No, but with Cameron Monaghan, it was more of like he looks just like the character. It's like a no-brainer that they would then make this jump to live action, especially because he is an actor in other series that's been, critically acclaimed. That being said, with all the kind of interconnectedness of other series, especially with Kenobi now and all the kind of bits and pieces that you've seen reflected from the game into live action, it would seem to me that they're leading that way anyway, based on what we've seen so far. So yeah, I think this is a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To stem off that too, of like the casting of Cameron Monaghan as the actor who looks like the character, they also did that with Deborah Wilson. Who it's funny, I looked at her IMDb and the things she's known for, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't put her, I didn't know she did that stuff. Mad TV, that would be the thing for me. It's not in her known for on IMDb, and I'm like, that's the thing that I know her from.
Yeah,
she did the Aki Aki girl in The Rise of Skywalker.
That's a fun fact. No, but yeah, Deborah Wilson as well, obviously, could be someone else that they decide if they want to, because at this point in time, that character may be alive.
Yeah, we're not sure.
No, we are or not sure. I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't played the game, but
I mean, it's been out for a few years.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, they could go down that route. The other thing too that's interesting about this story is that it has a lot of the things that I think live action is starting to delve into. Obviously, with Obi-Wan Kenobi, we just got like our first reveal at the Inquisitors. So if people are interested in that world, Inquisitors can kind of carry over. You could have the Grand Inquisitor, Rupert Friend, returning to play the character again. That's a possibility. Some of the other Inquisitors as well. You could have different Inquisitors if they wanted to go that route. They also, in the first game, you have a run-in with Saw Gerrera. Now, Saw Gerrera has the potential of showing up in Andor as well, because that's the Rogue One connection. But they really want to branch this thing out and show that all the stuff is connected. Maybe something like Saw Gerrera showing up and making that connection with Cal Kestis, as he did in Fallen Order, and Cal's going back and they're working with Saw again. Then you're seeing like, oh, there's more here to how all this stuff is supposed to be one big story. But I think you guys are dead on with the fact that he does his own moves, like he was motion capture and everything. This kid's ready to go for live action Star Wars. And it almost feels in that same category as like when people say, well, we probably wouldn't have done an Obi-Wan show, but Ewan McGregor is here now and he wants to do it and he's the right age. And sometimes those opportunities just get snagged because if you miss them, then they're gone. And Cameron, well, granted, he could get older and we don't know where that character ends up, so they have longer time. I still think it's right there and it's probably been on their minds for a while now. So this makes total sense to me. But also, side note, I wanted to mention too that video game animatics are really good, and I would like to see an animated Star Wars project that is based on like a video game engine, where like maybe they're actually hiring real actors to portray the characters and stuff, but it's still all animated. Kind of give that like you're watching video game cinematic, but you're watching it over the course of like 20 minutes an episode or something like that. But I don't know, maybe more money goes into that and they're like, nah, dude, we'll just like stylize them like Rebels and it'll be a lot easier to yeah, that'd be, I mean, he would know. He'd probably be able to tell me why they don't do that. But I've always for years enjoyed when you're playing the game and then you get to that point. Like Metal Gear Solid years ago had like 1 hour, 2 hour long cinematics sometimes in the games. And I'm like, I've been watching the same video clip for like an hour and 30 minutes. Like, this is crazy. That's a movie. I just watched a movie after beating that boss, you know? So it's like, I don't understand why they couldn't do this for like a series or something. But
dude, that was like, not to go on a tangent, I just finished up like Stranger Things part 1 of season 4.
Mm-hmm.
And like these last episodes are like an hour and 30 each. I'm like, I'm watching 2 movies right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is like,
And the
these
next
aren't
ones are
TV
2+
shows anymore.
hours.
yeah. And I gotta say, I'm not gonna take a dig at Star Wars because I thought the last 2 episodes of Kenobi brought it. The budget in Stranger Things has to be higher than these Star Wars shows.
The last 5 minutes of this past season was epic of Stranger Things.
Yes.
It was so insane.
So you guys
It
are
was
saying
so
I
good.
should finish season 3?
Yeah. Season
Skip
3.
the rest
yes,
of
finish
season
that.
3 and just go to season 4 because you don't even really need it. Like, they recap
Lacey,
it at the
do you-
beginning. They do one of those recaps, so they're like, previously on blah, blah, blah. So
That's
just watch
probably a
that
good
and then
point.
just jump right in.
I
It's a
remember
different
I was
season.
watching, I was like, guy in the sailor suit, and they're like in a tunnel or something. I don't know
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on.
You don't need to. You can go straight to season 4, and honestly, it's a whole different vibe than previous seasons because they're older. So I'd go for it.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah.
Now, I earlier promised a little bit of talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that is going to lead us to our next story because I don't know if you guys have been paying attention or not, but you can pretty much go anywhere and read any review as they are, or not review, but like promotion for Obi-Wan right now. Everybody's asking them the same questions, which are, hey, would you come back? Like, hey, it was listed as a limited series. Is there any chance you guys are returning? And like I said, I mean, you can look just about anywhere, whether it's like ET or GQ or Radio Times. Even McGregor was talking to them. And almost always they seem like everybody is willing to come back and the discussions are being had. Even Kathleen Kennedy saying things like, I mean, I'm not going to quote her exactly. I don't think I have it in front of me, but it saying, if it's there, like we kind of thought this was one thing, but the door is never shut on more stories for Kenobi. The fans were really receptive of it. So,
I have the quote. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
She said, but I think if there's a huge engagement and people really want more Obi-Wan, we'll certainly give that consideration because the fans, they speak to us, she adds. Quote, and if we feel like it, okay, there's real reason to do this. It's answering the why then. Then we'll do it, but we'll see.
Yep. So Lacey, tell me, based on that, like, what are your thoughts on the possibility of a second season?
I'm going to let John respond to Kathleen's comments because I think he has some particular thoughts about it.
I saw his eyes grow
but
large.
But I am going to respond to the Kenobi, obviously it's Kenobi, the Ewan McGregor stuff. Because the interesting thing is I feel like they've been pushing this narrative before the show even came out. Like, they kept asking him, like, would you come back? Before he had even technically come back in the series. I don't know why they did that. I don't know if it was like something that was being pushed from the Disney side or just the actors in general. But I think that Ewan's always said that he would come back, and he keeps saying like, hey, there's a 9 to 10 year period here that there's a lot to fill in there. I'd love to play this part again. The weird thing is I don't know where they're going to go with the series. I have no idea because I feel like it was just neatly tied up in a bow for us. And I had this like really lovely, warm hug feeling like I talked about last week of, I just felt like it ended in a good place. But I'm not going to say no to it because I always want more Star Wars. Always give me more Star Wars. I'm just not sure what that means. But hey, if they're willing to do it and they want to do it, I'm all on board. The one thing that was a little weird was with Deborah Chow. I just wonder if she's actually going to be on board. I know we ourselves at Celebration had heard some rumblings that maybe she was a little nervous about the fan reception of the series.
Yeah.
And as we know from Kathleen's comments in some interviews during Celebration, or was it prior, where she said that she wants someone on the movie side for like 4 to 6 years. They want like Favreau, who's just sticking around. Like, this is his sandbox and he's playing in it. And he's like, I'm going to just hang out here and play with these characters. And that's fine. But most people move on from projects, as we've seen with Rian Johnson, who's moved on to other things, but still has his foot in the door. I'm interested to see what that means for her, because I know that she worked on The Mandalorian, obviously, and then she went to this. Maybe she wants to do other things. Maybe she's like, hey, I got other projects lined up. I got other opportunities. I have this dream I want to do. Maybe it's not doing another series. So I don't know how they're going to tell this story without her, because she definitely was an integral part of this happening. And then also, as we know, with the production of the writing of the series, like, are they going to get the same writers? Is it going to be different writers? What is that vibe? Because as we've seen with the sequel trilogy, you can have a very different story with characters and movies and stuff back to back to back with different writers. But look, I'm all for it. If you want to give me more Ewan and more Vader with Hayden, which I think, by the way, Hayden is having the time of his life, which I love for him. He's having the best time with fans and interviews, and he just looks so happy. And I love seeing all these like behind the scenes photos of him like hanging out with the stunt guys. But yeah, I'm so happy for him, especially with what he went through, that I kind of would want this series to continue more for Hayden than Ewan. I feel like Ewan didn't have the reception in his career like Hayden did, so I want all the happiness and love for Hayden that he's getting right now.
Yeah, John, as
That's
the
cool.
article says here on Star Wars Newsnet, Obi-Wan Kenobi has far been a massive success for Disney+, with numbers of the series rivaling the level of engagement on Netflix Stranger Things Season 4. So, with so much hype around this series, which you have to imagine Disney probably expected that, right? Around Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen and Darth Vader and all that stuff. Why didn't they plan for more seasons? And why is now all of a sudden, after this limited series is complete, this is getting kicked around?
Well, this is already a situation where when we were watching this show, in the midst of it, you're like thinking like, how is he spending this much time with Leia? And then she seemingly doesn't really know who he is later on. And they smartly figured that out. And we talked about it on Wednesday, the lines that they popped in there to make it make sense that her message to him in A New Hope is to cover for them knowing each other. So again, the writing, like, some people are knocking the writing. I think they had to put together a jigsaw puzzle to make this stuff work and still be a good story on its own. And they did it, in my opinion. So lightning in a bottle, if you want, making something that was super hyped work, check, did it. If they keep rolling the dice, I think it starts getting dangerous a little bit. I could see them, how they left it there at the end where Obi-Wan's like, he just needs to be a boy right now. It looks like you two can handle it. That lets him like leave again for a little while. And Qui-Gon goes, we have a long ride ahead or long journey ahead. It's like they left that for sure that he needs to learn about becoming one with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to take him to like Mortis or something?
Go
Like
see Yoda.
They can definitely do. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they could go to Dagobah, but where's the conflict? You know, are they just going to run into some pirates? Like, I don't know if we need that. Like, this show ended so well. Like, if the main reason to bring it back is because people loved it and Ewan McGregor wants to do it, that's not enough for me. Because I think they might be playing with fire a bit too much.
But Kathleen says if the fans want it, then they're willing to listen.
Yeah,
John.
Yeah, because the fans, they speak to us. They certainly do. And hopefully Kathleen Kennedy, who, let's be honest, she knows about it. She has to know about Make Solo 2 happen. Like, come on. Michelle
That
Redwan's
comment
her
I felt was a
right-hand
little
person.
kind of like, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, right. So, you know, Kathy, you know, if you got a few shekels to throw about 6 to 8 episodes together, like, you know, we're speaking to you, a lot of us. So anyway, but the comments, so the difference between Deborah Chow, what she says, like Lacey was talking about, with the trepidation and saying like, well, we made this as just one story, there would have to be a big reason to do it. And then Kathleen Kennedy, on the other hand, is giving the executive answer,
money,
which is like, right. So follow me on this journey, right? And this isn't literal metaphors, but Disney's Palpatine, Kathleen Kennedy's Vader, and then like Deborah Chow's like Moff Jar on the Death Star 2. So Disney's like, what do you got for us? You got any movies? She's like, not really. She's like, well, what about that Patty Jenkins movie? Well, Top Gun came out and now we're a little nervous, so we're pushing that one aside. Well, all right, so what do you got? What are you gonna give me something? Disney Plus. What do you got? Kenobi was good. What else you got? You want to do more Kenobi? Good, do it. Bob's like, yes, do it. So then she goes to Deborah Chow, can you make more Kenobi happen? She's like, I guess. I don't know. So like Kathleen Kennedy's probably just like, we got Ewan. The fans love it. That's all we need. Green light it. Just make it work. I don't care what you have to do. Make it work. Because Bob Chapek's coming to oversee the operations.
Double our
So
efforts.
that's kind of how I feel it is.
Yeah, and no,
It's just
and
like,
no point at that did he ever say double your efforts, which is the line.
we should double our efforts. So it's like, so like Disney's just like, give us good stuff that people are going to watch and that shareholders are going to be happy about. And Kathleen Kennedy's like racking her idea for all the, racking her brain for these ideas, and just like, how about more Kenobi? And you could tell Deborah Chow as the artist and not the executive is like, well, she has integrity and she probably wants to put her name on something that's good, and she may be a little more hesitant to be like, yes, let's do it, So that's where I think it stands. I'm curious to see what happens. I do think they'll eventually do it just because it's very popular, and because Ewan McGregor, let's not forget, he's an executive producer on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So he has pull too. It's not just him, as he's not just some ho-hum actor who's in Star Wars saying like, yeah, I'd love to come back and let's do a Haja series, and let's do a or whatever. But if he's saying he wants to come back and do more, that's a big thing. So I think they will do it. It makes me very nervous, but I trust them. So
I like to picture we're at Celebration London. We're all in the arena, and Kathy says, we've got a surprise. We know you liked it, so we wanted you to see more. So the lights go out, and on the screen, it's that opening title music. You see the dust coming across, and then there in the words on the screen, it says, it's the big reveal. It says, Obi-2 Kenobi.
That's what you went with?
Yep. And they're going to announce it.
No.
Wow.
I was like, oh, we're getting the panel predictions like John does. I was like, where is this going?
No, Obi-2 Kenobi.
Obi-2 Kenobi.
Yeah, it's like Fast and Furious, John.
James, like,
Fast
speaking
and Furious
of lame.
movies, real hot right now. Kathleen Kennedy doing that's her interview. She's like, we saw the Fast and Furious movies, and we were so taken aback by them that we wanted to do our own.
James is like, you get it? Because Juan, guys?
Anyone?
I kind of get the feeling that this is already in motion. And I know that
it was in motion from the moment they got those first reactions on that first episode where they were like, we're the #1 streaming show.
That's
or they
email
wrapped
sent.
filming, and Ewan's like, this was so fun. Can I keep that camel?
They were going to wait until the reaction. I guarantee it. They weren't going to make calls before that.
Well, sure. But I think it's been one of those things where it's been on the like, hey, we made this show. It was a lot of fun. I feel redeemed. I think the fans are really going to like this. I would be willing to come back. And that was like kind of negotiated. And they're like, well, we'll see. We'll see you. And right now it's still in that like we could pull the button on this. But I think the people involved would be willing to come back. But I think you're also right, John, too, that some of them might be a little bit like, obviously I want to do it. Like, this was awesome. But at the same time, like, I really feel like I pushed myself to the extreme to get the perfect story, and there is no bigger moment for Kenobi, going up against Vader. Like, the only thing that I can come close to thinking like that it could possibly be is if they wanted to similarly do, what they did with Vader. We thought the last time they saw each other was, Revenge of the Sith, when we saw, To A New Hope, and all those references were to Revenge of the Sith. But no, we're going to make it, that there was this other time. They could maybe do that with Maul too. And then all of the Rebels references where he's like, oh, he's alive. I think I know where he is. I found him. Oh, he's on Tatooine. Like, maybe Kenobi could go off world. He could run into Maul. They could have their fight. They could, do a big thing there and then end it in the same kind of similar fashion. The only problem is there's no doubt about that. That's a step down. Like, Obi-Wan and Maul have their beef, and that's a big thing. It was a big thing in Rebels when they finally did that match. But it's a step down from Vader, and there's no way to hype it up higher than that. So I think there is some trouble with it. they probably should have thought this through and maybe did, a season where he was fighting the pirates, and then another one where the pirate gang was even bigger, and then the third season was like Vader, and it's like, there you can wrap it up.
It's like him and Vader are done until they see each other again.
Totally, because you can't bring it back.
For sure. Yeah. The goodbye Darth thing sealed that.
Yeah. And again, another step down, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm really trying to think here. Like, is there any chance that it could be similar to like Maul and Palpatine in Clone Wars? Like, could they do an Obi-Wan and Palpatine? Like, they meet, they have conflict, they fight, but Vader's not around. I don't know. A second season is rough, guys. But what I'm scared of is that money is going to talk more than sensibility or the story.
It's hard to conceptualize the story for it, but I think we all kind of see it coming.
Because Deborah Chow is laying the groundwork for things like, we'd have to have a really good reason to come back. And then when they do announce that it's coming back, she can say, we found the really good reason. Get excited. Kind of like they did with Toy Story 4.
That's if she's still involved, but yes.
True, but she's the one that is saying, like, we would have to have a really good reason to come back.
I agree with Lacey. It would have to involve Yoda in some respects to match the magnitude of Vader. Because I don't think I think Palpatine, like this era of Palpatine, like as we're closer to original trilogy, is more of just he's the Emperor. It's not Darth Sidious. He's not swinging a lightsaber around. He's not gonna be fighting Kenobi, that sort of thing. This is like the Emperor mode where he's just like in the shadows pulling the strings. You can make that face, but that's what's going on. Like with the way they positioned him in Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's like the Emperor mode. I don't see him getting into physical combat with Kenobi in a series or something.
He doesn't need to. He's at the tippy top. Nobody knows where he is.
Yeah, and the Yoda thing's interesting to me. I'd have to like.
I mean, he basically already said that Palpatine in the episode of Kenobi, that kind of Kenobi was not worth the time. Like, don't even worry about him. He's not worth it. We've already moved on for something else.
Yeah, the Yoda thing's interesting. It's just a matter of like who would the antagonists be, and who knows? But they're probably gonna do it, and let's just hope it's good, right?
Well, one thing for sure that we know they are doing is, get ready for this, Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation.
Holiday Road.
We did get some news on this a while back, but it's kind of one of those things I think we all kind of saw and we're like, oh, okay, whenever that, we'll see what it is. And now that we've got the trailer, I think everybody's, I don't know, indifferent about it.
I enjoyed it.
I think that most people are putting it into that category of like, okay, it's Lego and it's kind of cute or whatever, so it's fine. But let's start with John on this one. What are your thoughts on the Lego Star Wars Vacation trailer?
So I liked the Lego holiday special they did. I thought that was well done. I thought that was cute and charming, and had a warm presentation to it. The Halloween one I thought was fun for Easter eggs and stuff like that. This seems silly and goofy too. The one thing I thought was pretty cool is that Kelly Marie Tran's doing Rose in this, and I know there's a lot of hubbub about she's unhappy about episode 9 and how big her role was in the movie and stuff, but she's here voicing something that in my opinion would be below her as a main saga actor. You don't see Daisy in here, Oscar Boyega, so she's being a team player. She's alongside other older staples like Anthony Daniels and Billy D. Williams as people voicing their own characters. So I just want to say that real quick, that's cool that she's still in the mix and doing that, because I think we all think they're going to come back with that crew at some point with movies after episode 9 that isn't Skywalker saga, and she'll be right in the mix, and she'll get her version of a Hayden, standing ovation when that celebration happens, So I just think that's cool. I'll start there. It's silly. My only thing with it, it's silly fun. I did think it's funny seeing Palpatine in one of those like 1960s old man one piece striped bathing suits.
Rule of the beach.
Yeah, that made me laugh. The only thing I just have a slight gripe with is it does feel like a commercial for the Star Wars hotel, the Halcyon.
You mean the Star Cruiser going
the Galactic
on vacation?
Star Cruiser. Yeah, and it's targeted at kids. It's just like, if that hotel actually had, Finn in there and all those people the way they are in this thing, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe we should go check it out. But it did feel a little like a commercial, and maybe Disney goes down to Lucasfilm and they're like, you need to put this thing in 3 or 4 projects. And Lucasfilm's like, all right, well, you're getting it in this Lego thing then, and this book over here that not a lot of people are probably going to buy. We're not, and so I don't know, but and again, small gripe. I'm not going to get in here and tear this thing apart. It's for kids. It's something that people are going to watch once and forget about, probably for the most part. I'm sure my son will have a fun time watching it. I don't have much else to say about it.
I don't like this at all. I'm gonna kind of do what John said I'm not gonna do, but no, I didn't really care for this at all. And I get that it's Lego, but it reminds me kind of what Lego has done with their movies too. I feel like they have like a certain step that they do, and it just kind of like downgrades, which is like, to me, that first Lego movie came out and it was like special and it was cool, and there was something really unique about how they connected the live action with the heart of it. There was like a bigger story that was kind of connected to it. I felt that way about the holiday special. Everybody was like, "Oh, there's a live action holiday special, and there's a kind of a connection here. There's some there's a history and there's some heart around the idea. This is how you're going to do it." That makes sense to me. Then with the second project, they do the big movies did Lego Batman, and it's like, that's kind of surprising, but okay, it's a little bit darker, a little bit more connected to the lore and stuff, and that's exactly how the Halloween one felt for me. It was really cool how they brought in like Ren and stuff, and I was like, okay, it's still Lego, but I feel like there's something fun happening here or not fun is not maybe the right word, but like it's neat how they're kind of like telling these different stories and stuff. But that third movie that Lego did was Ninjago. And it's like, I don't think anybody cared and was just like, what is this? Nobody wanted to see it. It completely bombed. And that to me is like this summer vacation thing. It doesn't feel Star Wars at all. It doesn't feel like they're playing really in the lore at all. Like, I know they're going to Scarif, but like, I don't know, that doesn't feel right. Like Vader's castle, scary, that makes sense to me. And even then they were turning it to a casino. I get the jokes, but I don't know, summer vacation just doesn't feel right at all to me. I don't know, it's not intriguing at all. And I know that it's for kids, but so were the other two. And I liked the idea of like a young Luke and it was going up against like Darth Maul and stuff. You know what I mean? I thought that stuff was kind of interesting. And nothing about this seems interesting to me more than like, I don't know, like Jar Jar Binks surfing or something. Like, I don't care. So it's not for me. But Lacey, what are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be really funny. I've really enjoyed all these movies, and I think the trailer's really cute. It's really nice to see Ben Solo. I do have a gripe of, why is this the only content we're getting with sequel trilogy characters? I feel like that is a huge miss for Star Wars right now. I know that people have issues with the sequel trilogies. I know people have issues with the prequels. Nobody seems to have issues with the original trilogy, let's be honest. But prequels and sequels, yes, there's people that stand on either side. I just don't understand why these characters are just kind of being ignored. There's no books coming out. Their comic stuff got canceled. And the only thing we're getting with Rey, Finn, Poe, whoever, is Lego movies that aren't canon. And it's super frustrating as a huge Rey fan like I am to not get any more content with her. And I feel like we're at a point right now where kind of the sky's the limit, or the stars are the limit for Rey, where you have all this space that she can explore, whether it be in a book or a comic or whatever, and they're just not doing it. Now, of course, I would love live action with Daisy Ridley again and have it be either a show or a movie, but I'm saying, like, I'm willing to also take a book or a comic as well, because I know that obviously there's a lot of different things that play into live action or even animated, where there's a lot of planning and money and stuff. Whereas I feel like comics and books, not that there isn't a lot of planning, you could just kind of probably make it move faster.
I think that if it is like the High Republic right now feels to me, and I don't know what the numbers are, feels like they're in the diminishing returns category. And I feel like I would be more interested in checking out at this point, like Rey Skywalker, you know.
I just feel like we
limited
left on
series
such a point
comic or
that it was like,
something.
what's next? And then that was it. We never heard back at it again, ever again. And then obviously
That's
I
a
feel
good
like the
point,
only
yeah.
time we're getting Ben Solo stuff is in these Lego. It's like they throw in these things with Ben Solo that you're like, this is where I'm getting Ben Solo. That being said, I think it does look really funny. The Emperor always makes me laugh every single time. And I believe the Leia is Shelby Young. I'm pretty sure it is. So that's really cool to hear her voice again. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be fun, and I love that it's a Weird Al song. Is like the soundtrack.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It'll be fun. But like James says, is it gonna affect canon and overall story? No. Is there anything probably like deeper here? Probably not. It's a kids movie. But I would just like more from the sequel trilogy characters outside of Lego figures. That is
I will laugh if they walk into like the Galactic Star Cruiser just like, this place is amazing. I've heard a lot of great things, but now
definitely
that I'm here,
worth 2 nights at blah blah blah.
Finn's just like, I've heard so many good things from Han and Leia, but boy, being here is just wow.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
But to your point about the sequel stuff, I was thinking about it. I was like, if a kid was 7 when The Force Awakens came out, they're 14 now. So if they
Starting a
push it, like,
podcast.
if they start push it like 5-6 years, so when those kids are like out of high school and college, and they start like podcasting and blogging and stuff, like they're gonna bring them all back, and they're gonna be like freaking rock stars when they come back. So I think it's coming, Lacey. I think they're waiting. They're practicing patience.
I know all about waiting.
That you and I are not good at.
Someday.
Yeah. Oh, there we yes. There it is. Never thought about it like that before.
It's been a while.
What if we get a panel or we do a show in Celebration London? We start doing that voice. People start throwing shit at us.
People are like, please leave. I'm so sorry.
The panel is called Waiting, a Star Wars Story.
Like, get out. Oh man. Yeah.
All right, guys. I don't know that there's that much more to talk about. It's a good thing they didn't announce an Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2 over the weekend, because we would have recorded the podcast and missed that news. But that is it for the Resistance Report this week. We do have one more section though, and I'm going to hand it over to Lacey for that.
All right, guys, it's time for Resistance Transmissions. So this is the part of the show where John puts up a crazy, wacky situation, and then we read your answers. So first up, we have Alex Zukis. Oh, wait, what's the situation, Lacey? No problem.
What is the deal?
It's been a long day. Pick any Star Wars character and a Father's Day gift they would be disappointed to receive. Good one. All right, first up is Alex Zukis at Zubaka. What up, Alex? He said, Paz Vizsla is gifted the Darksaber by Mando.
I don't want it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Podcast of the Wills at Wills Pod said, Kanan gets a new pair of sunglasses.
Ooh.
It's dark.
Man.
Literally. And
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't say that, Lacey.
you're
Throwing
welcome.
shade. He's throwing shade at him.
Next is Mike Ramori missing Sawaka at Drum Jedi. What up, Mike? He said, Anakin getting a trip to the beach for Father's Day would be hilarious.
Oh, gosh. Well, it's coming.
Next is-
Lego's making it.
Yeah, next is Frank Janish at Frankie J29. What up, Frank?
What up, Frank?
He said, Grogu giving a carton of eggs to Frog Lady's husband.
Oh,
Oof.
jeez.
It's not Easter yet. All right, more 5150 and more 5150. What up? They said Admiral Mahdi receiving the book The Power of the Force.
Oh, gosh. That sounds I don't know. That sounds like a secret, like Scientology book, or like secret, or
Your
maybe even like
devotion to that ancient religion.
yeah, or something like a multi-level marketing book, like the power of sales or something. You know,
or like a series of action figures from 1995.
That's true too.
Yeah. Next is Christian Morales at Chris_Morales_1. What up, Christian? He said, Klieglar is getting a new bicycle.
No.
Oh my God, Christian.
That's so messed up.
Oh,
And then last but not least is Brian Pothier at B Pothier. What up, Brian? Where you been? Brian said, Jango Fett would be devastated to receive a court order compelling child support for the millions of clones he fathered. Hashtag Boba's brothers.
Boba's brothers.
Man.
Oh yeah.
Ridiculous. Guys, thank you so much for your answers. If you want to be on the show, make sure to follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN and look out for the situation. Back to John.
Well, people are funny, you know? That's what I've found. Very good answers. Thanks to everybody who sent them in. If we didn't pick you, keep them coming. But if we were here having Lacey read off 75 of those, one, she'd lose her voice, and two, he'd be like, all right, that's enough. But thank you, everybody. It's very cool. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of TRB. We hope your summer's going well. Like Lacey said before, make sure you subscribe to wherever. And if you do review us, 5 stars would be awesome. And spread the word. That's another way we grow. Telling people who like Star Wars about it. Some people don't listen to podcasts at all, let alone know that there are Star Wars podcasts, let alone that there are 5 million Star Wars podcasts. Let them know about TRB. And hopefully you have a buddy you can talk about Star Wars with about a podcast, which is also a very cool thing to do. StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. You can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, writing and editing at StarWarsNewsNet.com. And my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies, we're putting out an episode on Jaws, I believe, tomorrow or Wednesday. So check that out if you're a fan of Jaws. Lacey.
People can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gillerin, and I'm quickly going to say that I use this podcast and I use Star Wars to escape from the real world, which can often be a really tough place. And right now, it's not great what's going on. So sitting here right now, I have less rights than I did a week ago, and I have less rights than these guys, and that's not fair. So I don't usually get political, but I'm going to right now. If you want to help support, go to GoFundMe.com/whatchoice to help support. Thank you.
Nice. And you were on a stream yesterday. Right?
Yes, I was on a stream to talk about what's going on. So if you're interested, you can go check it out on YouTube. But I don't want to take up any more of your time.
All right. Thanks, Lacey. James.
Twitter and Instagram at Meyer Trunks.
All right, everybody. We hope you have a great week. It's been pretty toasty where I'm at and where Lacey's at. I'm not sure about James, but stay cool if you can. And we'll see you Wednesday, where we go live one more time before Andor to talk about season 1, maybe season 1 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and eat some tacos. So grab your tacos and take a trip with us on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. East, and we'll have some fun together live. But until then, enjoy the early parts of your week, and we'll see you next time right here on TRB. See you around, kids.